Hello everyone, this is Lugini7, and I am posting my battle for the semifinals round of the Killer Nachos monocolor tournament. I don't know where my stylus is. Oh, there it is. Alright, cool. So this time we got green versus brown. It's nothing new. I played if we played 8 matches till this point, 6 of them have been green and 2 of them have been brown. So I didn't actually get to have any originality in this tournament. I just saw the same thing over and over again. But anyway, we got a battle here, and so I decided to lead with Alakazam that has taunt because I watched some of his videos. I know he likes to lead with sleep, but I never expected a scarfed Breloom, which is what that is, because there's 0% chance that it's faster than Alakazam without a scarf. So that's very interesting. Never seen one of those before. So now Alakazam's asleep, and I'm like, oh, that's good. I gotta get out of here. So I decide to leave, and I go into Heatran, but he goes into Flygon. And this isn't a good matchup for me, but I know he's gonna U-turn. I did see a few of his videos before the match because I try really hard, I guess. And I know he's gonna U-turn, so I stay in. And I go for the sub, because sub Heatran is way better than Scarf Heatran. And he brings in Politoed, and I cannot hurt that thing at all. I have Flamethrower and HP Ice, so knowing I can't hurt that, I just decide to set up my Stealth Rocks, that way I don't waste my substitute. And he surfs, and that's obviously going to break my sub. So there it goes. Now Heatran's back, and now I can't stay in here. I gotta leave. So I get out of there, and I send out my Dragonite. And he predicts that switch pretty nicely. He goes for Toxic, and it hits, which is good for him. But what's not good for him is that my Dragonite carries a Lumberry for just this sort of thing. So now I'm cured of my poison, and I go right for Outrage without Dragon Dancing or anything, because I figure I want to do as much damage to that Politoed as possible. It walls pretty well, I'd say like 3 of my Pokemon. So I want to get some damage on it. It walls my Fire Poke's nice, and he goes for Ice Beam, and I didn't think this was going to kill, because it's not Stab. And Lauren's pretty bulky, but it brings me down to 144. It does a lot less than I thought. I thought it would do way more than that. I thought it'd be in red health at least. But that just shows how little special attack that has invested in it. So he goes out into Bronzong because I'm locked into Outrage, and I have no choice but to continue my violent rampage here. And my Dragonite's all mad. He goes one more Outrage, and I'm hoping he's going to come out of the Outrage here, because then I can switch. I'm obviously not doing anything to this Bronzong, and I do, which is very good for me. So I'm going to get out of here because I know Stealth Rocks are coming, and I figure I'll get Bronzong out of there because Bronzong can't do much to this thing anyway. So I go back into Heatran, and there's the Stealth Rocks. And I was actually playing pretty well at the beginning of this, and then I just start to fail hardcore pretty soon. It didn't turn out so well at this part because I decided to pick Flamethrower, and he goes into Politoed. Now, I knew Politoed was coming back, but I figured after 2 Stab Flamethrowers and Stealth Rock, I should be able to take it out. So I'm watching the HP go down, and it looks like it'd be a 2-hit KO if there weren't leftovers, but he has leftovers. So I know I'm not going to be able to kill another Flamethrower, and that makes me really sad, because I'm figuring I'm losing my Heatran right here to a Surf or something. But I do some damage to it. The Flamethrower doesn't take it out, which is not very good, and he rests, which is really bad. Watch all his HP go all the way up. And there's his wall that walls 2, maybe 3 of my Pokemon completely, just getting all of its HP back. Not so good. Not so good for me. So I get out of there while I can. I go back into Dragonite. I figure I'll start setting up while he's asleep if he wants to stay in and wake up the Politoed. And if he decides to go to Bronzong, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. So he decides to go back into Bronzong, and this is bad. So right here, this next part, is the most boring thing I've ever done in any Pokemon match I've ever played. And I gotta speed it up a little bit I'm sorry I don't know how to speed it up faster, but this is the longest stall war I think I've ever had in any of my matches. It's really boring. I'm gonna spare you the trouble of watching this and fast forward a little bit. All that really happens right now is he gyro balls and I roost, he gyro balls, I roost until I know I can live 2, and then I dragon dance again, so now I have 2. I was just kind of hoping that he was gonna blow up at some point. I figure if this goes long enough and like annoying enough, then he'll blow up or he'll switch. Who knows? I figured maybe I'll just annoy him. That was legitimately my strategy at this point, was to annoy him. It doesn't work. He holds true. He keeps gyro balling like he should. And at one point he picks Earthquake because Roost takes away my flying ability in case I switched. But that was a good move on his part when he gets to it. So I'm going to, well, I'll just keep talking because it's not cool to cut the video. So he's using a gyro ball, and here I'm going through in my mind thinking like, oh boy, if he gets a crit, this whole thing is going down the drain. And on top of that, I can't hurt this thing. My other move is Ice Punch, and I don't know why. It should be Fire Punch, but it's not. So I'm thinking to myself as this is going on, I don't want to switch anything else into a gyro ball, and I don't want to switch in the one turn that I want him to blow up, he won't. And I figured I'll stay in here with Dragonite, maybe this will work. And I should have been smarter with this. Instead of trying to do this whole thing, I probably should have switched. I bet Heatran would have taken it pretty well, but then I was thinking, oh, if I go into Heatran, he's gonna switch back into his Politoed, and that thing's gonna wake up, and it's just gonna be a pain. So I can't do that. I figure there's the Earthquake. The best thing I can do is sit in here while he tries to do as much damage to Dragonite as possible. Right now I'm trying to roost up to a point where I know I can live 2 gyro balls without a crit, and then go for it. Go for Outrage even though he resists it. Probably one of the worst plans ever, but I know, hey, there we go, now I start outraging. I know that when I come out of this, I should do a good amount of damage to him, and that does pathetic amount of damage. I was so sad right there. After wasting 20 minutes of my life with this stupid stall war, that's all the damage I do. And then I kind of get a cool, like, live at 6 hit point right there. His leftovers come back, and after all that, wasting all of our time, I go for another outrage, and it only does that much to it again. And I sad face because he gets the kill, and that just didn't work out to plan there. So I have to cut the video here, and you should watch the rest in part 2. Stay tuned for